Alan Stratton from Meswood Turns. It's that time of year, the time for the Christmas Ornament Challenge, and I want to enter one. This one is a cedar inside-out ornament. It has a Christmas tree inside of it, finial on the bottom, body out of cedar. The process is fairly simple, but there are a few traps to avoid that I'll highlight in the video. So there's time for you to make your ornament and submit it. Let's make this one right now.
I prepared 4 perfectly square blocks of cedar, at least as square as I could get them. After arranging them for the best grain pattern, I labeled them so I could keep track later and marked a line about 1/2 inch from the end to guide how far to spread glue. Some turners may glue the entire length with paper in the joint, but I think that gives me a lot to clean up later. I prefer just a little bit of glue on the end. After applying glue, I clamped them together. While the glue dried, I prepared paper templates sized to my glued up blank with a circle fit outside the square. These I glued to scrap particle board and cut out the arcs to use as clamp cauls. For a strong measure of safety, I'm clamping these arcs around the blank with band clamps. This should be more than enough to hold the 4 pieces together while I turn them. For additional safety, I wrapped duct tape around the clamp to hold down the free end. I've learned from experience not to just rough round my inside-out blank. Any wood removed at this point becomes a void in the center of the final project. My plan is for a somewhat bell-shaped interior with a bottom rounded to the sides, then stay wide to near the top, then quickly taper to the corner. I have to be careful to cut in on the corners to avoid splinterings. I must keep my hands on my side of the tool rest to avoid getting hit by the clamps. I am sanding and finishing the interior at this point. It's easiest now and very difficult or impossible later. Almost finished with the interior cutting, I'm now parting off the last 1/2 inch of the blank. This was where I applied glue to keep the 4 pieces together. I'm relying on the band clamps only now to hold everything together. Now the pieces come apart easily. Now I can rotate each of the 4 pieces into their final position and carefully glue them together again. This time I'm using white glue and spreading glue on the entire surface, but sparingly, as I don't want a lot of squeeze out. Now with the glue completely dry, I can remount the blank back to the lathe between centers. Even though the joints are completely glued, I feel safer putting on the band clamps again and again wrapping the clamp with duct tape. With these preparations, it is a quick job to part off the end where the old tenon is now a hole in the blank. Then form a new tenon with a skew and peeling cuts. Then reverse the blank into a scroll chuck. I have to be brave now to remove at least one of the clamps to turn the outside of the ornament. I'm using a small gouge and proceeding very cautiously. To begin with, there are square corners to deal with. Then once the corners are gone, the corners of the inside-out piece form sharp edges that could cut like a knife if my hands come too close. At the same time, the same corners are super fragile. My objective now is to shape the exterior up to the edge of the interior. This will avoid any flats on the exterior. Then I can cut more until I'm happy with the shape. I'm stopping the lathe frequently to check my progress. I cannot rely on the ghost images. With the bottom nearly complete, I'm taking a break to drill a hole. This hole will serve 2 purposes: to mount the bottom finial and to mount whatever I'm putting inside the ornament. Then carefully sand and finish the ornament with shellac friction polish. Again, those 4 corner slats must not contact my hands. They are sharp. Some sanding is with a strip held between fingers across the ornament. This tends to round over corners, but I don't mind that effect in this case. By hand, I'm also sanding each knife edge with fine paper to dull the edge. After parting off the ornament, I'm cleaning up the top with a sanding pad mounted to a Jacob's chuck. Then drill a small hole for the ornament hanger. While I have the Jacob's chuck mounted, I'm swapping for a slightly larger bit to use as a mandrel. I've looped wire around the bit, then twisting the ends together. This makes a quick, small hanger that is perfect for this ornament. I don't like hardware store screw eyes. Next, I'm turning a small walnut disc that my Christmas tree will sit on. I'm drilling the disc 3/8 inch to match the bottom finial and 1/4 inch to receive the base of the Christmas tree. Other than this, I want a simple, shallow OG curve. Now I'll turn the bottom finial. This will not be ornate since the focus of this ornament is the inside-out body. In addition, for Christmas ornaments, I don't want a sharp point for children's safety or a super slender spindle. I've chucked up a pen blank of some unnamed tropical wood whose color should complement the cedar. I take care to size the tenon to fit my 3/8 inch hole in the ornament. Once the tenon is finished, I'm reversing the finial into the chuck with this tenon to complete the remainder of the finial. Finally, for the Christmas tree for the inside, I've picked up a scrap laminated blank. Rather than turn it as is, I sawed off opposite corners, then mounted it between centers. This way, the laminations will not go straight up and down the tree. After roughing it round, I can focus on the base and the tree limbs. I'm carefully trying to undercut the limbs, but don't dare go too far. Then sand and finish. The trunk of the tree provides a mounting tenon while I clean up the tippy top. With all pieces finished, I buffed them and then assembled the inside-out ornament. It's a large ornament, partly because I want to put something inside it. But really, that is just an excuse. Next time, I'll scale it smaller. My inside-out ornament, especially since none of my blood was shed in its creation. Let's see your ornament creation in the Christmas Ornament Challenge. We'll see you again next week for another wood-turning video. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and tell your friends. Always wear your full face shield. Goggles are not enough. Until next week, this is Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns. Let's keep on turning.